Nowadays, as marketers, we are obsessed with data, and not without good reason. Failure to look at data is a bit like hitting a golf ball and not bothering to look up to see where it's gone. Was it a good shot? Don't know. What should we do differently next time? No idea. Data helps us in all sorts of ways. It tells us whether or not we found a scalable and profitable route to market. It tells us where the holes in our customer journey might be. And it tells us whether those 2 hours we spent debating on which hashtag to use was time well spent. But it is not without its limitations. It can't, for example, tell us whether or not there's an even more scalable, more profitable route to market elsewhere. It can't tell us how to plug the holes in the customer journey. And it cannot teach us common sense. No hashtag is worth a 2-hour debate. I think, if anything, we've almost started to hide behind the data as marketers. If the graph's going up, we take the credit, even though we know full well that there were lots of other factors outside of our control at play. And if the graph's going down, then we look for 10 other data sources with which to conflate and confuse. Ultimately, data does not in itself produce anything. Good stuff happens when we do good stuff. I therefore suggest we spend a little bit more time and energy on those big strategic inputs over which we have absolute control. Now, there are lots of different terms for these big strategic inputs. We choose to call it quarterly strategic objectives, QSOs, those big strategic milestones that we want to achieve over the next 3 months, and if we do, are going to mean that the brand moves universes beyond where it is today. If we do those things, then the KPIs are going to follow. This also gives us focus. If something isn't important enough to fall in the QSO bucket or the BAU bucket, which is business as usual, so those routine monthly activities that we're committed to doing because we know that over time they build the value of the brand. If it's not important enough to fall in buckets 1 or 2, then it goes in a third bucket, which looks rather like a bin. Time is just too precious. So of course data is important, of course KPIs are important. But if each time our golfer looks up, they see that the results are a little bit disappointing, they need to actually start doing something differently. New clubs, new stance, new grips, new sport perhaps, but only when we address the inputs will the outputs follow. See you next time.